This learning is Le'ili Nishmas Broya Bas Chananya, Maseches Kilayim, Perek Mishnayos. Haprutiyes, which are a certain type of mule, so the halacha is asuris, they're forbidden to be worked together, because generally you could tell by the markings on a mule what the mother was, whether it's a horse or a donkey. But by the prutiyes, there were no special markings to indicate this. So if a person doesn't know if the mother were the same, then they can't work with them together. Vaharamach, and the different type of animal, which is called a ramach. So we know that all of them, their mothers are a horse, so they're not kilayim with one another, and therefore mutter, a person could work with them together. The Mishnah continues and now discusses what certain animals are classified as. So it could either be classified as a chaya, which is a wild animal, or a behema, which is a domestic animal, or as a sheretz. And what this is relevant for is the transmission of tumah once the animal dies. So the Mishnah says, va'adne hasada, which is a certain type of animal which doesn't exist today, and had many features like a person. So the Tanakama says, chaya, it transmits tumah like a chaya, like a wild animal, which the way it transmits tumah is either by the person touching it, or if the person moves it without touching it even, like for example, with another object. The Rabbi Yesi argues, he says, metames ba'oil ka'adam. In addition to those ways of transmitting tumah, it also transmits tumah like a person does, which is that by being in the same room, under the same roof, with this dead adnei asada, it also transmits tumah. And he has a special limit from the pasuk. He agrees that it's a chaya, but there's a special limit from the pasuk that it transmits tumah like a person. The Mishnah continues, hakupa, the porcupine, v'chuldas hasnaim, which is a certain type of weasel. So the halacha is chaya, they are a chaya and they transmit tumah like a chaya does, which is, like we said, through touching it or moving it, and it's only if it's the size of a kezayas. The Mishnah presents an opinion that disagrees with part of this. Chuldas hasnaim, this weasel type of animal. So Rabbi Yesi says that Beishamai Eimrim, that Beishamai say metame kezayas b'masa uchadosha b'maga. They're uncertain whether it's a chaya or a sheretz, so they give it the stringencies of both, which are that a chaya transmits tumah, like we said, even by just being moved or carried, whereas a sheretz doesn't. So it's going to make a person tameh through carrying it, but then you'll need the size of a kezayis, because that's the size of a chaya that makes a person tameh. And on the other hand, when a person touches it, so a sheretz also makes a person tameh by touching it, but it's a much smaller size. Even if it's just in adasha, which is the size of a lentil, it'll transmit tumah. So it'll have the stringencies of a chaya and of a sheretz.